Well, hello. It is race week, and before we get started on anything here, I just wanted to ask for a request, as I did last year, as I do in these major races. If you could help film me on the race course, that would be unbelievable for the race video. Cyrus can't be everywhere on the course, and yeah, last year in Chicago, it was incredible to see all the different angles. So if you have an iPhone or whatever camera, just filming horizontally, not vertically, horizontal as I go by, and you can actually drop it in the Google Drive folder that we have in the description, or you could email your clip with your own transfer service to flobergruns@gmail.com. All the footage would be incredible. As much footage as we could get would be unreal for that video, and thank you in advance for doing that for us. I didn't travel here. I live in Chicago. I live in a suburb just outside Chicago. I work in the city. This is my hometown race, and I'm thrilled to race it again. This will be my 6th time racing Chicago Marathon, and just like last year, I wanted to do a little race preview video to just kind of disclose what my goals are, how I plan on attacking the race. It's almost like a race breakdown on the beginning side. So I didn't get too technical last year. I want to get a bit more technical this year. This is not a flashy video. We don't want to do a crazy edit this week in this episode because we're prepping for the race. But I wanted to go over time, fueling strategy, how I'm going to carb load leading up, gear, what I'm going to wear, all that good stuff. So just jump right in. My goal, as you know if you've been watching the series, is under 232. My PR is a 238.38 from Boston this previous spring. My coach definitely led me to believe that was more of a 233 to 234 effort given the day, given the fact that Boston is not flat and it was a very warm day. So in my head, I've kind of just not really seen 238 as my best PR. I almost feel like it wasn't indicative of the effort that day. Yet that is the time that I have as a PR. But yeah, really trying to aim under that 232 marker, which is 5:48 a mile on average and 3:36 per kilometer for the entirety of the marathon. So leading up to the marathon, I'm going to be carb loading as I've been doing in training. If you've seen more of this series, I'm trying to go off of that 4 to 6 grams per pound of body weight, 4 to 5 grams per pound of body weight, and that puts me at, I want to be hitting around 700 to 800 grams per day in the 2 days leading up to Sunday. So Friday, Saturday, we'll be targeting in that 700 to 800 gram window. That's going to be done through BPN's G1M Sports and orange juice and bagels and sourdough bread and Go Bars. Just not doing anything different. I trained with using all that stuff, so that's what I'll plan on doing for this race. As far as my week goes, this is posted on Thursday, so yesterday I did an 8x800 meter workout, final tune-up, at 245 per 800, which should be really kind of calm and relaxed and quick, but not super fast. And then I'm off on Thursday. Coach hasn't done that for me on taper week before, so I'm actually really excited to have a day off. I only do 4 on Friday and then 3 on Saturday. And the goal of going into this weekend, there's a lot of stuff going on. I'm doing podcasts, I'm doing our shakeout run, I'm meeting people, having dinners. So I'm going to be super careful about making sure I don't have a ton of steps each day. And I'm going to be all bougie on Saturday they can ride around my electric bike to the shakeout run to not have to have more steps. I'm just trying to minimize that as much as possible. And all season I coached my 2 oldest boys' baseball teams, and they have a playoff game on Saturday, which I so badly want to go, but it's at 2 o'clock. I'd have to rush at home after the shakeout run to get to it, and then it's more time on feet. So already talked with my family about missing that, which makes me sad. But again, in Boston, I did 10,000 steps the day before, and I was just really frustrated with that. I didn't want that many. And so this year I really want to target 5,000 to 6,000 steps that day and just get off my feet as early as possible. Hopefully I'm just kind of chilling in bed by 3 or 4 o'clock, which means I'm prepping all of my gear and clothes and everything on Thursday, 72 hours out. So race morning, I plan on waking up at 4 a.m. and immediately start eating and drinking my coffee. So I'm going to do a full bagel with strawberry jam, coffee, and water. And then I'll do a Go bar as well, a BPN Go bar, and then 2 scoops of G1M Sport in 20 ounces of water. I'll sip on that through breakfast all the way until we drop my car off near the start line. And then I'll be taking one of the BPN caffeinated Go gels 30 minutes prior to race in the corral. Ideally, I would love this is still pending a call with Jeff. I plan on talking to him tomorrow, so he might uproot all these plans. We'll see. I don't think he will. I think this is about what he's gonna say. I want to go out at about 5:55 per mile pace, and I don't know exactly what that KM split is. We can put it on the screen, but just slowly work down to that 5:48. I guess not super slow. I'd love to be at that 5:48 average by mile 3 or 4. So 5:55, 5:50, 5:48, and then just kind of float around that 5:48 mark for a while. And then ideally, I would like to get that down to like 5:45 a mile, which is looking more like 3:34, 3:35 per K by mile 8, where we turn around on the north side, so that I can get to the halfway point with a 5:46 a mile average, 3:35 a K. Now, that's really aggressive for a goal that's, I'd be happy if I ran 2:31.50, but going through half in 5:46 is a bit aggressive for that time goal, which might indicate that I might want to go a bit faster. Last year, my goal was under 2:42, and I really went for it and was going for like a 2:37 that day, and positive split by like 2.5 to 3 minutes. So I don't want that to be the case this year. If that was the case, I would probably be running the first half in 5:40 to 5:42 a mile, the whole first half. But I want to keep it at 5:46 to 5:48. So with that being the case, I'm hoping that my half split will be 1:15.30 to 1:15.45 in that range, maybe 1:15.30 to 1:16, because really you'll come to see later, like sub 2:30 is still a possibility in that scenario. And right after half, all the way until mile 20 or 32K, I want to try to be maintaining 5:45 a mile as best I can, right around that 3:35 a K mark until mile 20, and really just seeing how I feel through there. If 5:45 feels too difficult at that point, I want to fade to maybe 5:50 to 5:55, really no slower than that, because then I'm going to be bargaining with myself to try to maintain and get under 2:32. So really the goal is to feel uncomfortably comfortable by mile 20, so that I can hopefully start negative splitting that last 10K, that last 6 miles. So if I'm still at 5:45 mile pace, I can start ratcheting down to 5:30s. So like 3:35 a K down to 3:25 a K maybe. If I could get down to about 5:30 a mile, which is like my half marathon pace in that last 10K, maybe even just the last couple miles, that would be incredible, and that would be like a perfect A+ day for me. Weather is looking incredible right now. Today's Tuesday, so it's looking like 52 degrees to 55 degrees, not much increase in temperature through the race time. And I don't know, I'm gonna try Celsius. That'll be 10 degrees to 13 degrees. Maybe that's a little too cool. I have no idea. We'll confirm on screen. But it's also saying there's no rain predicted right now, and I feel pretty confident it won't. But right now, early indications are showing that it might be windy, like really windy. And if that's the case, it's saying from the northwest. And if it's coming from the northwest, the first 8 miles of the race, not all 8 miles, but at least the ones where you're heading north, which is mile 1, and then mile 2.5, all the way up to mile 8, is going to be really, really hard with a headwind. And so if that wind is whipping that day, that's going to be all the reason to start the race even slower. So I might just target those first 8 miles to be around 5:55 pace, so I don't burn out, and then trust that tailwind on the way back all the way to the halfway point. This also means that the last 3 miles or the last 5K of the race is going to be absolutely brutal, because in years past, Michigan Avenue going into Grant Park is already a wind tunnel. And if it's windy that day, it will be a horrible, horrible wind tunnel. Because if it is 25 to 30 mile an hour wind gusts and a steady wind of 12 to 15 miles an hour, if you see wind in the forecast coming from the north or northwest, just gear up if you're in Chicago to go to battle in that last 3 miles. It's going to be kind of nuts. Hopefully it calms down and it's not windy, but just trying to mentally prepare for that. As far as kit goes, I am going to go with the Nike Alpha Fly 3, the Bandit Super Beam tights, so that I can put gels up in the top pockets and carry 7 gels. My singlet will also be from Bandit. I'll wear my Outweigh race socks, which I train with, I've raced with before. I'm just keeping everything consistent. I'll probably wear some sunglasses if there's some sun, and then a BPN hat. I'm going to be going with the trusty Coros Pace 3. I'm not going to be relying on GPS at all. I'll be turning off all my splits and manually splitting every single mile to track how my splits are going. And then just like I do virtually in every single training run, have the Pod 2 on for more data collection, as well as the arm heart rate monitor. And those aren't necessarily, the Pod will definitely help with coordinating for splits and predicted splits in real time. So that'll be helpful. But the heart rate monitor, I don't plan on really utilizing in race all that much. It's more so for the data I'll be getting afterwards. Apart from, I might be looking at my heart rate late in the race to make sure if I'm in that like 165 to 170, I know I'm okay. So if I'm running 5:45 a mile and I'm in 165 to 170, I know to keep going there. But if I'm feeling like garbage and I'm at 172 heart rate and I'm running 5:45 a mile, I know that I'm going to need to probably back off a little bit so I don't crash and burn the last 10K. So again, it might sound overwhelming if you hear all that, but I've been training with it, and that's the name of the game with all this stuff. It's like a different language to me. Like I know these systems super well. I know how to interact with them, and I'm not changing anything. So I typically train with no splits being called out to me. I just manually split stuff if I want to. So that's going to feel very natural for me. Specifically for fueling, I plan on doing a Go Gel every 3 miles through the first 12 miles. So that's every 5K through the first 20K. That's going to give me 24 grams of carbs per gel, and that's sort of targeting that, like, the science is now saying if you follow Rosner Performance on Instagram, it's an incredible follow. And given how I was overwhelmed with what was in my stomach the last training run I did, my 23-mile workout, I'm going to start to space out the gels maybe every 4 miles after the halfway point, because I'll also be carrying G1M Sport in the soft flask. And that'll be about a scoop and a half. It'll be about 30 grams of carbs for the whole 14-ounce soft flask, and then like 500 to 550 grams of sodium. And I won't be doing any salt tabs because Go Gels have the same amount of sodium per gel as a salt tablet, and then I'll also have that soft flask as well. I'm not going to be sweating all that much, so I'm not really going to be super reliant on sodium. I really want to nurse that soft flask till late in the race. I might not drop it until like mile 19 or 20, so there's a good chance I'll be holding it for a long time. If I feel like I don't need it anymore by half or even before then, I'll drop it at that point, because I also recognized in that long run that I need to be taking on more plain water and not just supplementing with sugar and sodium supplements, but also getting just plain water. I think that was a huge mistake I made in the 23-mile workout. I just wasn't thinking about it. We brought plain water, but I didn't grab it at any point. So there's really only a B and an A goal in this race. My B goal is to PR. Like, I just want to get under 238. If I don't get under 238, given the conditions and what they look like, to be honest, I'll be really upset. To be in the shape I'm in and then run over 238 would just be really frustrating. So I really hope that's not the case. So PR is the B goal. The A goal is obviously what I've made public, is under 2 hours 32 minutes. But as I kind of said as a precursor in this video, I want to give myself a shot at sub 230. If I go through half split in if I go through half in 1:15:30, 1:15:45, even 1:16, that still gives me the option to negative split and drop 30 seconds to a minute off of the second half and go under 230. We'll see. but I want to give myself a fair crack at that. And that's not the same even split approach I had as last year. I guess it sort of is. If I'm wanting to go sub 232, a 1:15:30 would be a 2:31 marathon. So yeah, the last thing I want in this race is a positive split. So that'd be super unfortunate if that happened. And hopefully if it does happen, it would only be a small positive split so I can still sneak under 232. My Koros prediction right now is 2:29:37. And this thing has been really laser accurate on so many of my race predictions at virtually every distance since I've gotten the watch. So I love that. That's really cool. And it's a huge confidence booster. But it actually dropped a few points in the taper, which it normally does. And that kind of messes with your mind. But I'm not allowing it to. Like, I know I'm in that 2:29 to 2:32 shape right now. All the signs indicate it. My half marathon indicated it. So I'm stoked. I'm just so excited to race. So that's it. That's all of it. I'm unbelievably excited. Race week is so difficult for me. I have such a hard time sitting still. It's really hard for me to do any work. All I want to do is run, but I'm not allowed to run. And it sucks and it's awesome. And I'm absolutely thrilled to toe the line this weekend. It's always such a gift to be able to be healthy and to run a marathon. So if you're running it, if you're running any marathon this week or in the coming weeks, I hope you absolutely smash it, kill your goals, and we'll see you on race day.